All pit out. Takunda Makiwa. Matagi Fa'avele. Michael Sorrentino. Sione Mamata.
The Adrian College Media Production House provides opportunities for students to learn and grow live on the airwaves, just like Matt Kibbe.
I've gotten a chance to create a relationship with coaches and teams and learn more from people instead of trying to teach myself something. Gotten an opportunity to expand my knowledge of sports, hone in on my skills as a broadcaster, and learn about equipment in different ways. You get more of a connection with professors as well.
Providing opportunities, growing leadership. The Adrian College Media Production House. Thanks for tuning in. Adrian College is looking for leaders, student athletes with the tenacity to keep the Bulldogs at the top, the forefront, in and out of the classroom. The Bulldogs are looking for talent, character, hard work, grit, leaders who can electrify sold-out crowds, got out a last-line shift, will their team to victory, hit a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth, and be a part of a legend in the making. Think you have what it takes to become a Bulldog? Visit adrian.edu to learn more.
Bulldog fans, connect with Adrian College TV on social media to be updated when we're broadcasting live, to see highlights, plays of the week, and much more. Adrian College Television is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. ACTV's handle is @AdrianCollegeTV on every form of social media. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to the home of the Bulldogs, Adrian College TV.
Adrian College is a pinpoint like no other. With our 77 undergraduate degrees, 47 majors, and 21 broad fields of study, Adrian has a one-of-a-kind, hands-on learning experience for everyone. Do you want to visit the campus of Adrian College in person? Visit adrian.edu/campus-visit. Again, that's adrian.edu/campus-visit. Come take in the beautiful facilities at Adrian College for yourself.
If there was one word I was going to use to describe the communication arts program at Adrian College, it would be unique. Students find themselves on the radio, in front of and behind the camera, and directing their own programs. Students learn in a personalized environment that sets them up for a world of opportunities. Are you ready for your moment in the limelight? Learn more about the Rush Communications Center and Adrian College's communications program by visiting adrian.edu today.
I'm Matt Kibbe, the current student body president here at Adrian College. I chose AC because the campus simply feels like home. Everywhere I go, I know the amenities are there to help me succeed and get to the next level in my career. If you want to see what Adrian College has to offer, you can schedule an in-person visit at adrian.edu/campus-visit.
Adrian College has dozens of athletics programs, and winning is a staple on our campus. We have the culture of winning in and out of the classroom. This is a place where young men and women grow into professionals for life. Are you interested in learning more about the Bulldog experience? Visit adrianbulldogs.com and the Recruit Me tab to be recruited to play your sport of choice today. If you have what it takes, you could be a Bulldog in no time.
Adrian College Television would like to give a big thank you to our sponsor, Carlton Lodge of Adrian. Carlton Lodge is sponsoring all ACTV broadcasts during the 2021 to 2022.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside Docking Stadium, the setting for tonight's rugby match between the Adrian Bulldogs and the Davenport Panthers. The Bulldogs are riding high after delivering a 33-0 drubbing to Michigan State last weekend. As for the Panthers, they are looking to make a strong first impression in their first game of the season. Bulldogs will kick it away to start here. It's Quinn Murray, the freshman out of Northville, Michigan, to send it away. Thank you for joining us here on Adrian College TV. Calvin Keys here, riding solo up in the commentator's booth. Our director, Patrick Smith. Camera operators, Forrest Vernier and Ashley Roeder. Happy you've decided to tune in for tonight's rugby action. The Bulldogs were the national finalists last season, falling just short of a national championship. Murray will kick this one deep into Davenport's side of the pitch. Davenport will quickly send that one up the sideline, and we'll have our first line out of the match. In this situation, the forwards, or typically the larger players of both teams, will line up in between the 5-meter line and the 15-meter line. And the team with possession, in this case Adrian College, is going to throw it high in the air. Both teams will lift one of their players and try and capture possession. Getting up for it is Nick Andiarena. That's fumbled through the legs of a Bulldog player. Sending it up the right side now is Davenport, trying to break around the corner here. And knocked just short of the end zone is Enrique Carmona, who had plenty of green grass. We'll see what the ruling is here. Should have another line out in the cards. Bulldogs with it. Max Miller will play it in again. Conversing with Mike Bakofe right now. This is a very dangerous scenario for Davenport. If they can win possession off of this, it would very certainly need, it could mean a very likely try. Bulldogs scrambling to get it out of their own in-goal area. Davenport will pick it up. Driving for the end zone is Matt Kelly. He's just short. A ruck taking place. And it will be, I believe, a scrum here at about the 5-yard line of the football field. Davenport pressing early here at Docking Stadium, as we'll see our first scrum of the night. Panthers pressing so very close to that goal line, same as the football goal line. So they're trying to reach the end zone. Bulldogs are trying to win possession off of this scrum and take it away from them. Referee will stop the proceedings momentarily. Not sure what the mix-up is here. Players will rearrange themselves, and Panthers, who have possession, will roll this ball into the scrum. Just awaiting the word from the referee. And the scrum is underway. But just as quickly as the scrum began, it's blown dead yet again. After that fire wagon start where Davenport drove the ball all the way down the pitch, deep into Adrian territory, we've seen a little bit of a lull in the action. Davenport will get another chance to win possession off of the scrum. "15 players aside, many of them involved in the mixer. Looks like the ball will come out to Davenport here, trying to break around the right side. Quickly wrapped up there is Alessandro Maris, still on the ground. We have a ruck in progress when a player is required to drop the ball to a teammate. That was Matt Kelly using the hit stick to bulldoze through a Bulldog player, and he'll get the first try of the night. That's a 5-0 lead for the Davenport Panthers just 4 minutes into the match. Strong start for Davenport. They were able to take down the Bulldogs twice in succession a year ago in the springtime. That was during the Bulldogs Sevens rugby tournament. Took them down 19-17 in the first game, and then a more dominant 31-14 scoreline in the second. And this is what's known as a conversion. After getting the try, this kick will be attempted by the Panthers, and that will add on another 2 points to their score. That makes it 7-0 for Davenport, who came hot out of the gate in this contest. Adrian looking to regroup and try to put some points on the scoreboard of their own. That was Matthew de Villiers, graduate student from Cape Town, South Africa, who converted for the extra 2 points after the try from Matt Kelly. Dominant performance from Kelly on that try that he scored. Davenport was having trouble getting into the end zone, and he just went right through an Adrian player to get the first points on the board. Again, Davenport employing a similar tactic where they're sending the ball deep into Bulldog territory for a line out. It's one of the easiest ways to work up the field is to let the ball do the work for you instead of enduring the battering of trying to work it up the field on the ground. So our third line out of the contest. Again, it'll be Max Miller, sophomore out of Saline, Michigan, to play this in. In air acrobatics again, that one over the head of Andres Drab, and the Panthers have it yet again. Working up the near sideline yet again. That's a beautiful tackle there from Patelo Vatuve, and the Bulldogs get possession back. Quinn Murray heading up the left side, finally able to be brought down, but not before dumping it off to a teammate. A poor turnover there as it was in the possession of the freshman Gabe Schwerb. Bulldogs still fighting deep in Davenport territory. A ruck taking place here. Panthers looking to hand it off. They're backed up near their own goal line. Tackled to the ground here, a mix of bodies. Mike Pakofe taking someone to ground. Now it's near the center of the field. Mess of bodies piled on the ground. Davenport playing it deep into their own end. They'll kick this one deep past the halfway line. Goes out of bounds, and a cheer going up from the Davenport bench as Jared Welt not able to get there in time. Panthers get themselves out of a pickle. They march down the field immediately to score the first try of the game, followed it up with a nice conversion. That's how we got to this scoreline of 7-0. Just over 7 minutes into the match. Bulldogs very nearly scored off of the efforts of Quinn Murray on the near sideline. He's got lots of speed if he's given open room to run, but the Panthers able to stop the Bulldogs short of the try line, and they sent it back down the field, and we'll have a line out here just short of Adrian's 10-meter line. Matt Kelly to play it in, grad student out of Grandville, Michigan, very nearby Davenport's campus, located in Grand Rapids. Players organizing right now. Bulldogs are coached by Benny Matealona. He was hired last fall as the first ever coach of the Bulldogs rugby program in their second year of existence now. Made a run to the national championship game in Houston, Texas a year ago, where they fell at the hands of Thomas More University, small school in Kentucky. This one thrown back, and lots of room to run here for Anoke Takau. Brought down at the halfway line. Players scrambling to gain possession on the ruck. Dropped for Quinn Murray, who will try to attempt to kick it to himself. Flag is raised. Ball goes out the touchline. A little bit confusing here on the football field, not the traditional rugby markings, but the touch lines they are playing are the yellow lines typically used for soccer matches. And the try line they are trying to achieve for 5 points is the same as the football end zone. It's marked by the pylons in the areas without the typical end zone markings. Davenport to throw this ball in on the line out. Panthers up 7-0 in this one. Glad you've joined us here on Adrian College TV. Lofted high in the air. Getting up for it is Takunda Makiwa. Panthers fumble it dangerously. Bulldogs very close to getting it into the end zone. Whistle blows from the referee. Should see a scrum. I think one of the Adrian players dropped the ball forwards. Not entirely sure, though. See how this one gets worked out. Almost 10 minutes into the game. Bulldogs have come close. Keep an eye on number 10 behind the scrum, Murray. That's the guy they're going to try to get it to. He's got wheels. Bulldogs, rather, will roll this one into the scrum. Doing the honors is Jack Stevens. Scrambling for it. Ball still on the deck. Adrian trying to find it. Players still down in discomfort. Whistle is blown. See what the call is from the referee. Talking with one of the Adrian players right nearby the try line of Davenport. Bulldogs right on the doorstep, trying to get off the mark in tonight's game. Shut out the Spartans in their previous match last weekend, their first of the season. Dominant performance down in East Lansing. Now in their home opener, being tested early by the Panthers, down 7-0. Bit of a lull in play, as it appears a penalty kick has been awarded to Davenport. So now we're going to look for one of the Panthers players to drop this ball onto the ground and then immediately kick it onwards, as it was deemed there was a foul called against Adrian. Tough to tell with the large abundance of bodies near the goal line, but again, Davenport emerging unscathed from what was a dangerous situation for Adrian. Very nearby the try line. It'll go out for yet another line out. Davenport have made lineouts their friend early on in this game. They fell to Lindenwood in the semifinal of the USA Rugby Sevens collegiate tournament. They lost to Lindenwood 28-14 a year ago. Finished with a 13-11-4 record last season. Getting up to win that one was Joseph Portillo from Fallbrook, California. Huge tackle there from Patelo Vatuve to halt the Panthers' progress. His teammates will set position. It's played back through their legs. Rolling on ahead. Davenport establishing the offsides line when there's another player crouching over their teammate who is tackled onto the ground. Bulldogs are not allowed to go around to the back and try and grasp the ball. Another favorable bounce for the Panthers, as they'll get a line out extremely close to the in-goal area of Adrian College. Kelly, the line-out specialist. Forwards arranging themselves. 15 players on the field for each team. It's the 8 forwards in the mix between the 15 and the 5-meter line to grab this one. Davenport's going to come down with it and try and press forward. This is a maul where a teammate is turned around and his fellow Panthers are trying to drive him forwards. That's what that formation is known as. Panthers very nearly in the goal zone, and they'll score now in a bit of a mix-up here. Pleasantries being exchanged, pushing and shoving. Players having to be separated. Exchanging blows. It looked like it was the Davenport player who may have instigated. Came up in a fury and delivered a hard contact to an Adrian Bulldog. Thankfully, it looks like cooler heads are going to prevail. That play results in Davenport's second try of the rugby match. That'll put them ahead 12-0, looking to make it 14 here with the conversion. Sean Nolan, junior out of Laguna Beach, California, to take it. One of the interesting things to note, rugby, a fastly growing sport in the United States and worldwide. Very diverse lineup for both teams, players hailing from all across the United States of America and multiple nations. As we're just awaiting this conversion clock, continuing to tick down here at Docking Stadium. 26 minutes left in this first half. Rugby game, of course, consisting of two 40-minute halves of running clock. So far, Davenport has been the better team, taking advantage of an interesting tactic where they kick the ball far down the field outside the touchline and then take advantage of winning it off of lineouts. There they used a brilliantly executed maul to their advantage, and looking to add to their scoreline is Matthew de Villiers. Made his first conversion. Can he capitalize on his second? That one appears to be wide right. No good. So it will stay 12-0. Difficult to convert on those conversions when they're closer to the touchlines, because I believe those are taken from a spot relative to where the ball entered the in-goal area. The first try went in for Davenport near the center of the field, so it was a favorable angle for the kicker, Matthew de Villiers. That time he had a very difficult look at the post, and as a result, put it outside the right post. So it will stay 12-0. Two-score lead for Davenport over the Adrian College Bulldogs. The Dogs will kick it away deep into Davenport territory, trying to break down the near sideline. Taken down in a heap there. That was Portillo on the tackle. Referee calling a foul, and it looks like Davenport will have another penalty kick. This is a scenario where the Panthers will get a free kick and another opportunity to advance the ball down the field. Davenport launches it down the near sideline. Bulldogs want to try and keep this one in play, which they do well. Kept in there by Sam Williams. They'll work it across the field. Now Jared Welt with it. Bulldog player going down to the ground. Bodies flying. Adrian coming out with it. They'll meet a roadblock immediately. Manavaje trying to break along the side, and a foul called against the Panthers. This time the penalty kick will go to Adrian College. It appears Quinn Murray will take it. Benny Matelona, the head coach of this Bulldogs squad, formerly was the head coach at Detroit Catholic Central High School. And a lot of the players from his former program have followed him here to Adrian College, one of whom is Quinn Murray. Line out coming up again here. Matt Kelly to play it in. Players arranging themselves in anticipation. Commands being shouted out. Communication so pivotal in the sport of rugby. Lots of things going on at any given time. Important to stay on the same page, as being thrown to the ground was Jack Stevens. Players still getting tangled up. And it's this time the penalty kick will go to Davenport. Alex Knoll with the ball. Hands it off to Jonathan Kutzley. You have to imagine the Panthers will look to send this one down the near sideline as close to the try line as possible without eclipsing the mark, as that would mean a turnover to the Bulldogs. This one's sent deep into the bleachers of Docking Stadium. Spectators racing to get after it. They'll get a replacement ball into Matt Kelly. Thank you for joining us again here on Adrian College TV. Calvin Keys here with you for rugby action, the first home rugby game of the Bulldogs' second season as a national collegiate rugby program. Exciting stuff, a sport quickly growing in the United States. Scintillating action, a sport that certainly isn't for the faint of heart. Fun to watch, but it takes incredible toughness to play. Scramble for it. Coming out of the fray with it is Inoke Takao. St. George, Utah native. Bulldogs setting up the ruck. Jack Stevens away with it. Quinn Murray will boot it down the near sideline. Controlling it well there is Enrique Carmona. Referee's whistle sounds. And violation going against the Panthers. Adrian takes possession. Penalty kick for the men in black. Adrian wearing their black uniforms. Davenport in the white shirts as the ball is launched into the crowd yet again. Nearly halfway through this first half, Davenport Panthers leading 12-0 over Adrian. Panthers benefited from a hot start where they drove down the field immediately to score their first try, followed it up with a conversion. Adrian came close to leveling the score, but then a few moments later, Davenport added on to their lead with another try. Weren't able to score on the conversion from a hard angle, so 12-0 is how things stand. Bulldog taken to ground. It's skipping around. Davenport to come up with it. Launched up to the near sideline, chasing after it is Welt. Welt moving ahead. Slammed to the ground there by Takunda Makiwa. Foul called against the Bulldogs. The physical side of this game is remarkable to watch. Players crashing into each other at high speeds. One of the rare sports that combines a great deal of aggression with an abundance of finesse as well. This is a penalty kick. Approaching the spot is Matthew DeVilliers. If he scores it through the uprights from this distance, it'll be 3 points on the board. It'll be a tall task for him, however. DeVilliers getting a rise from the crowd. Home crowd trying to help out their Bulldogs team however they can. DeVilliers approaching the spot, lets it fly. Kick looks pretty good. Just narrowly out to the right side. No good. Davenport's lead will stay at 12 points. This is the first game of the season for the Panthers, second for the Bulldogs. Panthers coached by Dustin Steedman, his second season leading this Davenport team. Led them to a fourth place finish at the USA Rugby National Sevens tournament last year. Assistant coach for the Panthers, Dominique Bailey, a current professional rugby player. Moving ahead there was DeVilliers, sends it wide. Trying to charge through the middle is Davenport. Taken to ground. Call ruled in favor of the Bulldogs. Junior Silo with it. He'll set it down. Adrian with an opportunity to send it away up the pitch. These players will take a chance to get a breather whenever they can. The play does not stop, clock continuously ticking down, but there are lulls in the action that we see for fouls and other stoppages, and you can definitely tell the players try to take full advantage of those brief halts in play, trying to catch their wind. Murray sending this one up the grassy hill on the away side of Docking Stadium. It will be a line out near the 10-meter line. On a rugby field, typically blank, not nearly as many markings as we see on your traditional football field. You can maybe be able to see on your screen those orange markers with the number 10 on them. That signals the 10-meter line, which is the distance that the ball needs to travel past on the kickoff. That's about where this line out is taking place right now. Dribbles back for Pakofe. And it's pile on. Referee halts play. There's been very, very few clean rucks in this game. Typically what you'll see is when a player is tackled, either his teammate or his opponent will jump on top of him quickly to establish position, making it easier for his team to gain possession of the ball. In this game, we've just seen the players take every opportunity to just create sort of a dog pile, if you will, maybe a bulldog pile in this instance. But lots of fouls being called because that's not necessarily protected within the rules of the game. There's very strict standards you need to follow when you are assembling a ruck, and they have not been heeded to this point in the match. Long conversation being had, arousing the ire of the crowd who want to see more action commence. Less than 17 to go. Looks like the ball will stay in the hands of Adrian. And perhaps we've seen our first yellow card booking of the night, as one of the Davenport players will exit the field. Haven't been able to get a great look at the number, and now we will. That is Joseph Portillo heading off. He was shown the yellow card. That means that by rugby terms, he will enter the sin bin, which means that he is forced to exit the match for 10 minutes of play. Davenport will play a man down during the duration of that penalty. That's a warning similar to soccer. If Portillo re-enters the match and receives a second yellow card, then he will be ejected for the entire duration of the rest of the game, and then Davenport will be forced to play a man down, as they are right now for the next 10 minutes. Portillo will be sprung loose at about the 6-minute mark. Until then, Adrian with a golden opportunity, playing with one extra man, trying to take full advantage. There was Patello Vatuve, the Californian, moving ahead. He's slammed down to the ground with significant force, and Bulldogs will draw another foul. Davenport letting out their aggression on this Adrian team in this first half. 15 minutes yet to play. So far the difference has been 2 tries and a conversion from the Davenport Panthers, hailing from Grand Rapids, Michigan, making the trip up to Docking Stadium here on the beautiful campus of Adrian College tonight. Tempers have been flaring, as they often do in this violent sport of rugby. Lots of stoppages, lots of long conversations. We just saw our first player of the match be yellow carded, Joseph Portillo. He's on the bench right now. And then what we saw just a few moments ago is Patello Vatuve trying to advance the ball up the field and was thrown down illegally in the air. Another yellow card shown to a Davenport player now. So Adrian will have a 2-man personnel advantage as yet another Panther will make his approach to the sin bin. That is Christian van der Westhuizen from Cape Town, South Africa. So now it is van der Westhuizen and Portillo both on the bench for the next 10 minutes of play. Portillo getting out at about the 6-minute mark, van der Westhuizen at about the 5-minute mark. Until then, it'll be 15v13 on the pitch in the Bulldogs' favor. Kelly to loft it in for the line out. Adrian very near that try line, also known as the end zone in football terms. They'll set up a ruck now, a maul. Bulldogs forcing it forward, close to the end zone, and it's their first score of the night. Adrian College gets on the board. Getting off the mark there, that was, I believe, Max Miller. The ball popped loose out of that maul formation. He snatched it up and saw an open gap down the near sideline. Went in virtually unimpeded to give the Bulldogs their first points of the night. What we just saw there was the maul formation. Davenport player trying to tackle an Adrian Bulldog, wasn't able to get him to the ground, so the Bulldogs player able to turn around, and his teammates forced him close to the goal line, where then Miller snatched it up and went to ground to put the 5 points on the board for Adrian. Attempt here on the penalty kick. Kick is up and wide right. So 12-5 is how things will stay here at Adrian College. Bulldogs unable to get the conversion and the extra 2 points. It was Sam Williams, hometown boy, junior from Adrian, Michigan, on the attempt. Kicked it wide to the right side, couldn't get it within the goal posts. Bulldogs now down by 7. Second missed conversion we've seen tonight. Davenport 1 for 2 from the spot. Bulldogs just missed their first conversion attempt of the night. And now Davenport will take the kickoff. 13:20 left to go in this first half here on Adrian College TV. Adrian College hosting Davenport University in National Collegiate Rugby action, two of the top teams in the country at their respective level. Murray sending this one backwards. As you may have noticed, in the great sport of rugby, you can only throw the ball laterally backwards. Cannot throw it forwards like we so often see in American football. You can drop kick it forwards, however, as we see from Quinn Murray. Bulldogs, I believe, may have drawn another foul. Two players are off of the field currently for Davenport if you missed it. Joseph Portillo and Christian Vander Westhuizen both booked with a yellow card, which means they have been forced to exit the game for the span of 10 minutes before they can make their re-entry. In the meantime, the Bulldogs up 2 players on Davenport, who only have 13 at the moment. So far, they've taken advantage and scored their first try of the night a few minutes after both players were booked. Now another lengthy argument going on. At times, this match has resembled more like a debate competition than a rugby competition. Davenport pleading their case as they've seen lots of calls go against them. Adrian has been the more well-mannered of the two sides. I believe we've seen yet another yellow card, third of the night. 15 v 12 now. Another Panthers player will trot off the field in dismay. This time it's Saul Pittout, the sophomore out of Commitye, South Africa. 15 v 12. Third yellow card of this first half shown to a Davenport player. Bulldogs with a significant advantage. They'll have to look to exploit. Moving forward, down by 7 at the moment. They've scored 1 try to Davenport's 2, plus the Panthers' conversion to boot. Bulldogs, if you're just joining us, trying to keep their undefeated record going. That's being threatened at the moment. Adrian took down Michigan State in East Lansing last weekend by a score of 33-0. Now facing some adversity, down 12-5, albeit up by 3 players due to the poor behavior of several Davenport Panthers. Being lifted high into the sky is Nick Andiarena. Wins possession, looking to send it up the near side. A miscue from the Bulldogs. Trying to break free. That is Patelo Vatuve, still on his feet. Remarkable display of athleticism from that man. Finally, the Bulldogs will be tackled to the ground. They set position well. Jack Stevens picking it up, trying to send it across to the far side. Maul taking place now as the Bulldogs look to force it forward. Doing very well, showing off the lower body strength. As maybe a foul called against Adrian now. Davenport getting possession. 10:43 to go in this first half. Before we experience a 10-minute halftime break, as looks like there's an injured Panther down on the field. That's Sam Evans, the Englishman, junior at Davenport. Looks like he's going to try to make his way back onto his feet as we will stay here for the broadcast. 15 players going to battle at a time in this game. Both teams allowed to dress a 23-man roster, so they have 8 substitutes at their disposal. Right now, Davenport is only playing with 12 as 3 members of their personnel have exited the field after being shown a yellow card. Another stoppage. I think we will see a scrum here as Adrian may have violated the rules of the maul. A couple of Bulldogs were trying to force their teammate forward after he was wrapped up by a Davenport Panther, but violated the regulations of rugby union. So now we will see another scrum, I believe the second of the night. This is where the larger players on the pitch, known as the forwards, arrange themselves. It will be rolled in by a Davenport player, and then the players are forced to push with their bodies and use exclusively their feet to knock it back to their respective sides. Davenport coming away with it quickly. Booted ahead by Sean Nolan. Out of bounds. Great play by the Panthers. Forces a line out deep in Adrian's half. Difficult scenario for the Bulldogs to operate in. They're pressed extremely near to their goal line. Davenport doing very well despite being down 3 players. It's looked virtually even. Panthers, one of the top teams in the country, took down Adrian twice last season in sevens action, which sees roughly half of the amount of players on the field. It's a different variation of rugby, but nonetheless, the Panthers showing their quality as well as a bit of their nasty side early on in this game. Another pause in the action, under 10 minutes to go in this one. From Docking Stadium with the sun setting over the hill at Adrian College. Calvin Keys here, glad you've joined us. Our producer is Patrick Smith, Forrest Vernier operating the camera at the moment here on Adrian College TV. Lots of sports going on in this fine Friday night. We'll touch on that a little bit later tonight. Davenport's coach Dustin Steedman urging his men to hurry and get in position. Clock just continuing to roll. Bulldogs will make a last-second personnel change as well. Adrian wearing the black, Davenport in the white shirts at the moment. Thrown in by Kelly. Coming down with it is Makiwa. Sent across. Cutting it back here and doing very well is Ethan Howard. Finally tackled. Ruck takes place. Ball comes free. Wrapped up is Maris Kurti. Looking to forge away ahead is Janssen Van Vuren. Meets a roadblock. That play drew the ire of Davenport. Wanted a foul called against the Bulldogs. A hard hit there. Brilliant play on that occasion from Sam Williams as Davenport approaches ever closer to the try line, looking to add to their 1-score lead. Up by 7. Can they make it up by 12? Panthers forging ahead. Setting position again. Dropped back again. Brilliant play by Alessandro Mares. He's tackled. Kicked on forwards into the corner, racing after it and just outside the fingertips of Alex Knoll. A beautiful set play by Davenport, who tried to kick it into the corner. The Panthers needed to get a hand onto that one and press it down to the ground in order to get the point, which they were not quite able to do. Skipped just outside of the reach of Knoll. All he had to do was get a hand to it and touch it down to the turf. Came up just lacking. Now Quinn Murray signaling his teammates onward. Murray, with a significant Irish heritage, may have been part of his motivation for picking up the sport of rugby, with a great tradition across the pond in the United Kingdom as well as the nation of Ireland. Thrown across now into the hands of Andy Arena. Pakofe onto the wing, looking to show off his finesse is Welt. Brought down in a heap. Bulldogs forcing themselves forward. Davenport got position first. Referee doesn't think so. So now Adrian gets the ball, and that was Andy Arena pointing the direction just to let Davenport know that they were going to keep a hold of it. Approaching halftime, Murray launching this one. Have to have your head on a swivel at all times in the crowd. It's a significant, often used tactic by the players to send it deep to the touchline in order to advance their field position. A line out here. Ball in Adrian College hands. Bulldogs came up just shy of a national championship last year, their first season of the program's existence. Finished the year 19-7, 5-0 in conference play, regular season play. And they made a run all the way to the National Collegiate Rugby Division II National Championship game in Houston, where they fell 21-17. Just defeated by Thomas More University, the school out of Crestview Hills, Kentucky. Panthers regaining the ball now. Knocked to the ground in a heap by Inoke Takao. Thundering hit. Not necessarily a legal hit. As a Panthers player still down. Now they're signaling that he may need a substitution. Not feeling too good. May see some personnel make their re-entry. Davenport has replenished their lineup. One of their men who was yellow carded has done his 10 minutes time and now is back on the pitch. Should have another returning in short order that would return it to 14v5. For a moment there, the Panthers were playing 3 men down. I believe they will have 2 of their players back now as injured Panther down on the field. We'll step aside for a moment and we'll have the conclusion of the first half of rugby action after the break.
Bulldog fans, connect with Adrian College TV on social media to be updated when we're broadcasting live, to see highlights, plays of the week, and much more. Adrian College Television is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. ACTV's handle is at Adrian College TV on every form of social media. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to the home of the Bulldogs, Adrian College TV.
That's it? That's the puke? That's gross.
Are we live right now?
Bulldog fans, connect with Adrian College TV on social media to be updated when we're broadcasting live, to see highlights, plays of the week, and much more. Adrian College Television is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. ACTV's handle is at Adrian College TV on every form of social media. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to the home of the Bulldogs, Adrian College TV.
Back here at Docking Stadium, where an injured Davenport Panther currently being helped off the field after a thundering hit from a Bulldog player. With just 5 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in this first half, Davenport has been the better team so far. They lead 12-5. More of play has occurred in Adrian's half than Davenport's. This is National Collegiate Rugby action. Bit of a miscue there from one of the Adrian players serving as water boy at the moment. Tried to chuck a bottle to the far side of the field to his teammate. Came up short. Lid flew off and water flooded all over the pitch, leaving none for the intended teammate. Still being helped off the field as a Panther has a sizable welt on his midsection after a bit of a blindside hit there from an Adrian player that awarded Davenport a penalty kick, which they will send deep into Adrian territory. Panthers in favorable position yet again. Looking to put it back in play here. Lots of scintillating action so far in this game. Calvin Keys here with you on Adrian College TV. Thank you for joining us. Forwards organizing themselves at the moment. Davenport will throw it overhead. That's tipped away by Adrian. Panthers still come away with it. Working it across the field, feeding it backwards. A hard hit delivered there from Junior Silo, and maybe a breakaway for Jared Welt. Trying to kick it along with him, whiffed on it, still being sent into the end zone. A sticky situation for the Panthers as Ethan Howard picked it up but was immediately tackled. Ruck in the end zone. Adrian saying they scored the try. Tough to tell from our vantage point in the end zone. Appears as if a try will not be awarded, and rather Davenport will seize possession of the ball. Another lull in the action here, approaching halftime. Lots of close calls for the Bulldogs where they haven't been able to capitalize and punch it into the in-goal area for points. They've come up just shy on several occasions. It's a penalty kick now for Davenport. They'll send this one away. Out of harm's way. Just passing the half line. Coming down with it is Williams. Dropped for Murray. Sending it far on ahead. Looking to pick this one up is Nolan, who does well to keep it in play. Kicking it dangerously back to a teammate. Adrian trying to bring him down now. Taken down by his shirt is De Villiers. Panthers trying to work it free. Another ruck will formulate. Less than 3 minutes to go. Steam rolling away through pressure is Davenport. And a momentary halt in play. Lengthy drop kick that was very close to being blocked, but instead it will clatter out the far sideline at about the 10-meter line. Adrian will have possession for a line out. Re-entering the game now is Saul Pitout. Served his yellow card penalty of 10 minutes. The penalty for serious infringement in rugby is almost a hybrid between soccer and hockey. Hockey, if you commit a penalty, you go to the penalty box for 2 minutes on most occasions. Soccer, if you get a yellow card, it just serves as a warning. Don't have to exit the game. And rugby, you are given a warning in the form of a yellow card, and then you have to exit for 10 minutes time. 3 players of Davenport have had to do that in this first half. They've all returned. Adrian only able to score a singular try during their 3-man advantage. So Davenport looks to bring a 7-point lead into the break if they can hold on. Rolling forward is Matt Kelly. Here's a ruck, staying with Davenport. Kick sent up on a high angle, jumping up for it there, and finally possessing is Welt, wrapped up quickly by De Villiers. Both teams contesting for it. Wrapped up in a heap right now. Whistle blows. Welt at the bottom of the pile. Adrian keeps it. Pakofe, when the referee wasn't looking, acted as if he was going to hurl the ball at one of his opponents, perhaps to scare him, and then let a bit of a grin cross his face. We've got less than a minute now, and according to the referee, the first half has concluded. Apparently the scoreboard clock was not accurate. That one still showed 47 seconds, but the referee blows for halftime. Davenport Panthers, the away side, leading over the home team, the Adrian Bulldogs. Lots of drama in this first half. 3 players given yellow cards for the Panthers, but they were able to take the lead and keep it up 12-5, and we'll be back with the second half on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Adrian College is looking for leaders, student athletes with the tenacity to keep the Bulldogs at the top, the forefront, in and out of the classroom. The Bulldogs are looking for talent, character, hard work, grit, leaders who can electrify sold-out crowds, got out a last-line shift, will their team to victory, hit a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth, and be a part of a legend in the making. Think you have what it takes to become a Bulldog? Visit adrian.edu to learn more.
Adrian College is a pinpoint like no other. With our 77 undergraduate degrees, 47 majors, and 21 broad fields of study, Adrian has a one-of-a-kind, hands-on learning experience for everyone. Do you want to visit the campus of Adrian College in person? Visit adrian.edu/campus-visit. Again, that's adrian.edu/campus-visit. Come take in the beautiful facilities at Adrian College for yourself.
As you anxiously await all of the amazing experiences that will define your college years, you stand today, students, on the threshold of one of the most magical times in your life. Tuesday, April 6, 2021, I was sitting in my office and an email popped into my inbox from someone in your graduating class today. The email said, "Dear President Docking, back in August I had emailed you in regards to the state of the well-being of the campus community during the COVID spike. At that time, I was incredibly..."
Welcome back to our presentation of rugby action here on Adrian College TV. Calvin Keys here along with you for the ride as the Adrian College Bulldogs currently trailing to the away side, the Davenport Panthers, up 12-5. Loud noises arousing from the crowd trying to cheer their Adrian team on. They have a bit of a deficit to make up here, down by 7 points. Panthers came out of the gate hot in the first half, scored a try immediately, marched down the field. Took Adrian a while to respond. At one point in the game, it was 12-0 Panthers. Then Davenport went 3 men down thanks to 3 separate yellow card infringements by their personnel. Adrian took advantage to score 1 try, missed the conversion, so they're still down 12-5. Wrapped up immediately is a Bulldog. Already a tangle up. This is a poorly executed pass that skips along the ground, and this is dangerous. Davenport nearly at the try line. Very dangerous position. Play halted for the first time in this second half. We saw a lot of mix-ups, a lot of fouls in the first half. As we said, 3 yellow cards going to Davenport players. A couple of injuries as well. Rugby certainly a physical sport, and that's continued to be true here tonight in this matchup. 2 of the top teams in the country in National Collegiate Rugby. Rugby 7's semifinalists from last year, Davenport University, and the national runner-up in NCR Division II last year, Adrian College, facing off so far. Davenport's been the better team, and they look to spring wide here with some open space to take advantage of. It's fumbled at an inopportune time by Jonathan Kutsley. Adrian will advance the ball. Still a tangle up. It will be dropped way back here. Took a favorable bounce. That's into the hands of an Adrian player who springs ahead with speed. Dropped it off, perfectly timed. Finally hauled to the ground by Curdy. Mix up. Dropped back off of the ruck. Fumbled momentarily by an Adrian player on the far side. He'll be thrown to the turf. Ruck is set up. Thrown backwards. Adrian is going to lose a little bit of ground, or perhaps not, as one of their players managed to stay on their feet. Murray skying that one high in the air to the far side. 50-50 ball, skips off the ground. Kelly chasing after it. He'll drop it back for a teammate. Now forging ahead is Mark Murphy. Murphy still on his feet, finally goes down. Referee's whistle sounds. It looks like Davenport played the ball forward, so possession to Adrian College. It is Patello Vatuve with the ball in his grasp. Large and boisterous crowd in attendance here at Docking Stadium, cheering on the Bulldogs, who are currently trailing 12-5, as Andres Drab will limp off the field, as well as Vatuve, and a couple of replacements will come on for the Bulldogs. Looks like Drab's going to continue on despite holding that right side of his. And Jared Welt receives some instructions. Entering into the game is TJ Miles from Spanish Town, Jamaica. Number 23 on your screen in black. Getting some encouragement from his teammates as he makes his first appearance tonight. Bulldogs have 37 minutes to make up a 7-point deficit. Murray, one of the premier kickers on this team, sends it just short of the bleachers. Out of bounds at the 10-meter line. We'll see another line out. Davenport players will organize themselves. Adrian huddles up and discusses strategy. Miller will go to grab the ball. Informed by Pekofe what the plan of attack is. Just awaiting play to restart. Now it will. Bounces over to Davenport's possession. Janssen Van Vuren forging ahead. Beautiful tackle there from an Adrian player. And maybe springing loose here is Pitout. Up the far side, he's tackled. And it looked like the headgear of one of the Davenport players was picked up by a Bulldog and thrown onto the sideline. Perhaps that's why the Panthers get possession now. Referee reinforms the Bulldogs of the expectations. He hasn't been afraid to go to his pocketbook, shown 3 yellow cards, all of them to Davenport so far in this match, as the Panthers sent that ball out of bounds for another line out. Re-entering into the game is Vatuve from East Palo Alto, California, after heading to the sideline momentarily to get some treatment. And it appears that right now we are waiting for the delivery of a new ball, as the previous one being used was sent over the far fence here at Docking Stadium by a kick with some serious distance behind it. That ball sent back into the fray, unbeknownst to some of the players who were standing in the vicinity. Were nearly struck by it. The start of another line out. Getting up for it to Kundo Makiwa. Panthers have it. Rushing ahead is Carmona. Enrique Carmona nearly bursted loose, but it's a foul called against Davenport. Adrian gets it back. Looked like it would be a dangerous rush for Enrique Carmona from Mexicali, Mexico. Grad student at Davenport University. Turned on the jets, saw a gap, nearly took it. He was wrapped up, but before that, a scrum was signaled. We'll see another one here. One of the trademarks of this great sport. As the players prepare to enter the fray, the ball will be rolled underneath. Sent in. Players can only use their feet to knock it back to their side, which Davenport does well here. Despite Adrian playing it in, it's a turnover off a strong play on the scrum by the Panthers. Staying on their feet, continuing to drive forward is Ethan Howard. Ruck executed to perfection for Davenport. Dropped back here, and again for Maurice Curti. Curti taken to ground. Slow and steady right now for Davenport. Fumbled away out of the hands of Mark Armstrong. Bulldogs down with it near the try line. As slow to get up there was Quinn Murray. He'll regain his bearings, back up on his feet now. Just over 6 minutes into the second half, Davenport in white leading over Adrian College in black 12-5. Lots of action in the first half. It's been a while since we've seen a try here. Thanks again for joining us on Adrian College TV as we await another scrum play. This is the second ever season of rugby at Adrian College, and the fans coming out in large numbers to support their Bulldogs. Murray sends it away. Snatched up by the Panthers. Trying to work his way ahead is De Villiers. Brought down just ahead of the 22-meter line, or the 10-meter line, rather. Thrown backwards now. Breaking ankles there was Sam Williams. Cut direction quickly. Panther player wasn't able to track him. Lost his footing. Sam Williams put him on ice. Now a tangle up. Bulldogs drop it back. Lowering his shoulder there was Pakofe, knocking over a Davenport player but not gaining any ground. Murray dropping it back. Referee blows his whistle. That play was dangerously approaching the stands on the far side. A chance for both teams to catch their breath. Fast-paced action here in the first 8 minutes of the second half at Docking Stadium. Davenport 12, Adrian 5. Adrian's coach, Bene Mateolona, was a two-time collegiate All-American at Life University in Marietta, Georgia. Played professionally in Major League Rugby with the New England Free Jacks in 2019. Exciting news was announced yesterday when Lerone White was brought on board as the assistant coach of both the men's and women's rugby teams here at Adrian. That was actually yesterday that was announced. He played rugby collegiately at Louisville and currently plays on the Austin Gilgronis in Major League Rugby. That team went 12-4 last season and won the Western Conference of the league. Before that, he played for the Seattle Seawolves from 2017 to 2018. So Lerone White, a huge addition to the coaching staff of Bene Mateolona. As we saw, another cracking hit there. Davenport keeping a hold of it. No worse for wear is Sean Nolan. Dropped quickly. A bit of trickery for Davenport, and maybe they're away here. Kutzley down short of the try line. Adrian hesitated, a bit of confusion, and now the Bulldogs coming away with it. Looked like they were home free, and surely were going to get some points. Vatuve thought he had hit the jackpot, but the referee had halted play, so it will come all the way back. There was nothing but green grass ahead of Vatuve, but his attack was stopped in its tracks, and now Davenport will score their third try of the night, distancing themselves from the Bulldogs. 17-5 now. Davenport leading as they just were able to score the try on the far side of the field. That'll make it a 12-point advantage. A conversion would make it a 14-point advantage. Just awaiting the conversion attempt right now. Davenport, I think the difference in this game has been the Panthers' ability to capitalize when they approach the in-goal area. Adrian has came close on numerous occasions, but the goal line defense from Davenport has held strong and denied them all but one time. Clock continuing to kick off. Again, it is De Villiers. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Another tough angle from the far right side. At about the 24 line on the football field. That would be a 35-yard field goal in football terms. That one rang the right post. No good again for Davenport. Still up by 12 points in this game. Couldn't get the conversion, but they got the try. And starting to pull away right now. Adrian needs an answer. Quinn Murray to perform the kickoff duties. Murray getting ready to send it away. Upcoming schedule for the Bulldogs, they'll take on Marian University next Friday at 7 p.m. as a miscue occurred here. And Davenport, it appears, will get the ball. On the kickoff, the ball needs to eclipse the 22-meter line. I think Murray sent it high in the air, wasn't able to get it past. And it'll set up a scrum scenario right on the halfway line. 28 minutes to go in this one. It's a steep hill to climb. Bulldogs down 12 to the Davenport Panthers, who have possession here. They'll send it in for the scrum. Players not staying up high enough. Scrum will be reset. Referee's had his work cut out for him. Players trying to find whatever advantage they can in this game. Again, just want to thank you for joining us on Adrian College TV. Calvin Keys here on the mic. Patrick Smith, our director. Forrest Vernier and Ashley Roeder, our camera operators. Ball kicked back masterfully by Davenport. Speeding with it is Vander Westhuizen. Wrapped up in the torso is Howard. Moving forward is Pitout. He's tackled. Springs loose. A crushing hit by Vatuve on Armstrong. Panthers keep it. Makiwa finally takes a tumble. Ruck formation is enacted. Thrown back for Nolan. Dropped off again. Pakofe will haul a Panther to the ground. Pakofe in some discomfort now. Whistle blown. Davenport player down injured with 26 minutes, 23 seconds remaining in regulation. And the trainer will again make a trip onto the field. While we await for the injury treatments, we will step aside for a short commercial break.
College Television has the pleasure of airing all Adrian College football games this 2021 football season. And along for the ride are these wonderful sponsors, including the Adrian College Bookstore, Gurgin Insurance Agency, Carlton Lodge, and sponsoring each week's player of the game, Hungry Howie's Pizza. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of each broadcast to see who was named Hungry Howie's player of the game.
Back at Docking Stadium, rugby action, Adrian College hosting Davenport University. We had a break for an injured player. Currently making his departure from the pitch right now. And it appears as if this will set up a penalty kick scenario for Davenport. In a favorable position, lined up centrally in front of the goalposts. And Sean Nolan looking to approach the ball. If he can put this through the posts, it will add another 3 points to Davenport's score. Hush falls over the crowd. Clock starts running again. Trying his luck. And right down the middle. Makes it 20 for Davenport. Sean Nolan puts on a clinic from the penalty kick. Another 3 points to the tally of the Panthers. They're up 15, 20-5. Bulldogs look stunned at the moment. Still plenty of time left on the clock for another twist in the plot. But so far, Davenport has been all over Adrian. Another kickoff now. Last time Murray had a miscue that turned the ball over to Davenport. This time he will send it deep near the goal line. Davenport Booting it up the near side. That one out of bounds. Adrian rushing to throw it in. Bulldogs looking to play it quick, but their attempt will be halted by the official. We'll see what becomes of this. Lots of things going on in the Adrian College athletics world today. Women's golf teed off at 2 p.m. in Marshall, Michigan on this fine Friday afternoon. They're taking on Olivet College. Women's volleyball getting their weekend rolling this evening. Their match started at 7:30 p.m. against the College of Worcester as they begin the MIAA NCAC crossover tournament in Angola, Indiana on Trine University's campus. And last but certainly not least, the bass fishing team has been at the MLFLW Lake Erie tournament in Sandusky Bay, Ohio all day, casting their reels. But we're glad you've joined us here at Docking Stadium. The only home event today for the Bulldogs is rugby, men's rugby that is, Adrian versus Davenport. And the Bulldogs need to get something going pretty quickly here, down 15. It would take a great deal of tries or another variety of points to get back into this one, but you have to start somewhere. And right now, Davenport controlling possession, sending it deep to Adrian. Picked up by Sione Mamata. Now booted high in the air. Adrian chasing after it. Getting in the way of that, but not in the way of Anoke Takao. Takes it in for the try. 5 points for the Bulldogs. Their second of the night. Anoke Takao, the freshman from St. George, Utah, scores a timely try. And could that turn the fates of the Bulldogs around? We shall see. That'll spark the energy of the crowd. Adrian burst away. A brilliant tactic, skying that ball high in the air. Took a bounce off the turf. Looked like a Davenport player was holding up one of the Adrian Bulldogs. But Takao saw the ball settling about the 30-yard line on the pitch. Snatched it up, and he was on his way. 20-10 now the score. Looking to close the deficit however they can. Since Takao was able to get to the center of the in-goal area and down the ball, Quinn Murray will have a nice angle on this one from the left hash mark. Murray, the freshman at a Detroit Catholic Central. Approaching it from the left side. This would cut the deficit to 8, and it's good. Murray takes care of business. Just like that, we've got an 8-point game. And it appears as if this one will go down to the wire. 22 minutes left to play in the contest. Davenport leading 20-12, but their lead quickly slipping away after the Bulldogs took it to the house. Adrian will have to hurry here, wasting time right now. If I was their coach, Benny Mateo Lona, I would be giving it to Davenport as quickly as possible to let them kick off and resume action. Clock is just going to continue to wind down regardless of what is taking place on the field. Barring an injury, there are no stoppages in the sport of rugby. Getting up to punch it away out of the outstretched hands of an Adrian player. Davenport setting up the ruck. Looking for options. It's sent back for Pitout, who saw a yellow card booking in the first half. Another tangle of bodies. Aggression exchanging sides. And play is whistled dead. Pitout will be helped back onto his feet. As we quickly approach the halfway mark in this game, another injured player. The clock will stop with 20:49 to go. It's another Panther down on the pitch, and we'll step aside for a moment.
intercepted by the Bulldogs.
Back at Docking Stadium on the beautiful campus of Adrian College, a Davenport player being helped off the field just a few moments ago, and another dangerous opportunity for the Panthers. Looks like this will be a penalty kick from about 35 yards out. Dead center opportunity for Sean Nolan. This would be critical to continue to extend the lead of Davenport, up 8 right now. This kick is worth 3 points. Nolan taking his time. The junior, it's up, and it rings true. 23-12 in favor of the Davenport Panthers. That's a big error by Adrian. They're in the business of trying to come back in this game rather than giving their opponent more opportunities to score off of silly fouls like that one that we saw. Nonetheless, the Bulldogs, they've handled adversity in the past. This is just their second season, but had a lot of success last year, trying to carry it over into the 2022 campaign. And in order to do so, you're going to face moments like this where you're trailing late in games. How can they overcome some of the struggles they've had tonight and forge their way to success? Deep in the Davenport end, sent across by Nolan. Now over for De Villiers. That one far out of bounds. Into the stand. Should be another line out in the cards. 18:50 left to go. Calvin Keys here with you on Adrian College TV. First home rugby game of the second ever season at Adrian College. Bulldogs hosting the Panthers of Davenport. Forwards arranging themselves. Lofted up and over and into the hands of Ethan Schroeder. Sophomore out of Rockford, Michigan, is tackled. And Bulldogs will look to play this one quickly as taking advantage of green grass. They'll spring past the 15-yard line. Dropped back for Murray. On to Vatuve. To the near sideline. Comes to Takao. Takao is hauled down. Rolled back. Bit of a miscommunication. Still it comes to Murray. Now on to Arena. Working to the far side of the pitch. It's Gatewood. Nearly sprung loose, but he's hauled down to the ground. Played over. Davenport forming a formidable line of defense that Adrian will have to work hard to try and break through. Andy Arena. Bulldogs lost a bit of ground that time around. Murray drop kicks it ahead. A race for it. Panthers pick it up and clear the danger to the sideline. Another close call for the Bulldogs, leaving their blood, sweat, and tears out on the pitch tonight. They've got a great crowd of supporters in attendance. Want to put on a show for them. They're down 11. 17 minutes. All that's left in this contest. Joshua Gatewood awaiting a chance to throw it in. Bulldogs discussing strategy still. With his back turned to the thrower is Fa'avale. Bit of trickery. It's thrown straight in for Gabe Schwerb. Whistle sounded. You wonder if that may have been an illegal play. Bulldogs, I think the mistake they made there is that throw needs to come straight in between the two lines of forwards. That one came off center to Schwerb. It was an unfair toss, and I believe this will mean a scrum. Davenport starting with the roll-in. Another mistake that you just cannot make while you're trying to make a comeback in a rugby match. Really a silly thing to do. Adrian's mistakes coming back to bite them again. Still, they're in very good position if they can somehow win it off this scrum. They're near the in-goal area of Davenport. For the Panthers, they will let this clock tick down as much as possible. It's been a tedious approach to this scrum. Taking shape. Played in. Working for it, and the Bulldogs have it. Big win off the scrum. It's Murray looking for a gap. Dumps it off to Vatuve. Dribbles into the Davenport end zone. They're tackled. And again, they're able to scrape away without conceding any points. It's still inbounds. Racing for it. Dropped off for Gatewood. Booted up ahead again. That's off the head of Tatenda Wenyu. Trucked there by Matagi Fa'avele. Muscling his way onwards is Pitout before he is finally swarmed. Dropped back now for Janssen Van Vuren. Davenport player on the ground holding their head. Referee signals to continue play. With some green grass, shoestring tackle there on Mark Armstrong, who was trying to break away. Huge hit by Takao. He was bowled over in the process. Somewhat unorthodox ruck formation for Davenport, and some blows exchanged. Wenyu still tangled up with an Adrian player. Adrian is going to need to refocus their efforts into coming back in this game. Dropped off for Howard. Sending it up the near side. Another ruck for Davenport. Tag teamed is Garrett Hill, who was lofted up in the air before crashing down to the ground. Surprised the referee ruled that legal. Taken down this time as Makiwa. Panthers throwing it back. Wenya looking to move it man against man. Joshua Botha moving along the far side. Hard hit on Enrique Carmona. Still Davenport has it. Killing some clock late in this second half. Up 23-12. Over the home side, the Adrian Bulldogs. Makiwa falls to the ground. Bit of a illegal play from Adrian to crash over the ruck that ref will turn a blind eye to. There was another hand to the face of a Davenport player who's still holding his head on the ground. Nonetheless, we continue. Another ruck transpiring. Thrown across. Driving his way forward for Davenport. Panthers player frustrated that there was not a foul called against the Bulldogs. It's down on the pitch. Two players helping out on the tackle for the Bulldogs as the pace of play slows. Makiwa helping his team approach the in-goal area that Adrian College is so desperately trying to defend. It's still loose. Bounces out the near sideline. Should have a line out in order. Bulldogs player limping off the field, who will be replaced by Matthew Kohler, freshman out of Suttons Bay, Michigan. This is yet another crucial play. Clock has stopped. Don't see any injuries at the moment. So a bit of confusion. And instead of a lineout, we'll have a scrum. Yet another crucial play. Crowd getting in a bit of a fracas with a Davenport player exiting the field. I'm not sure if Matt Kelly is injured or if he was shown a yellow card. Tough to discern. Murray sends it far out of play. Trying to count the players on the field to discern if there was a yellow card shown. Davenport still has a full 15-man roster out there on the pitch, so it must have been an injury against Matt Kelly. He was replaced by another Panther player. Looks like it may have been Joshua Botha. Thrown overhead here by Gatewood. Still skipping along this bouncy turf surface here at Kapnick Field under the lights at Docking Stadium. A low kick sent ahead by Davenport, but that was after a foul had been awarded in Adrian's favor. Do or die time now for the Bulldogs. Murray sending it to the far sideline. Davenport looking for a chink in Adrian's armor. Remarkable resiliency there from a Panther player to make his way past the half line. Davenport in an uproar. They'll win possession. Foul called against the Bulldogs. Now 10 minutes, all that remain in this one. Water being doled out to the Panther players. Happy you've joined us tonight on Adrian College TV, approaching the final minutes of play here in men's rugby action. Davenport at Adrian. A reminder to tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. for our coverage of football. Adrian College hosting Hanover here at Docking Stadium. That'll be followed by women's soccer at 5 p.m. Penalty kick approaching here for Davenport. This one from a considerable distance. It'll be remarkable if Sean Nolan can convert and add another 3 points to their tally. That was a cannon, but did not have the accuracy. So we will stay at 23-12. Davenport would have added another trio of points to the scoreline for the Panthers. As I was saying, tomorrow we've got men's football, 1 p.m. versus Hanover at Adrian College TV, followed at 5 p.m. Women's soccer taking on Heidelberg University. That'll also be live streamed on our YouTube channels. And then finally, the nightcap in prime time, men's soccer as they host Rochester University at 7 p.m. Huge contact here on the near side. Taken to ground. Fa'avale on the tackle. Coming away with it is Andy Arena, but the referee won't permit it. Again, the ball goes back into the hands of Davenport. Nolan has been able to muster the greatest distance on his kicks tonight. He'll partake in another one. Sent far to the corner. Kept in remarkably by Adrian, but they're backed up deep in their own end. Making some really good grounds here. Setting up the ruck perfectly are the Bulldogs. Still, that was Schwerb and Garrett Hill getting mixed up. Skied past the half line. This one will be brought all the way back into Adrian's territory. Bulldogs have it, it looks like. Still sorting this one out. 7:16 left on the clock. It's still up in the air whether this is Adrian's ball or Davenport. I thought initially it would go to the Bulldogs, and it looks like it will. Murray has it. Clock beginning to tick down precariously again. It looks like Adrian is taking advantage of some more favorable position. Bulldogs urging each other on. And the ball is live yet again. Started off by Jack Stevens. Bulldogs meeting a roadblock. Dropped from Murray. Adrian player quickly tackled. Ruck is orchestrated. They'll continue to advance. Comes out now, still bouncing on the turf. Davenport trying to get free. And Bulldog player had the Panthers player's shirt wrapped up in his hand. Not allowed in the sport of rugby. And looks like we'll have another scrum. 23-12 in favor of Davenport, who have led all night. Started early with a quick try right after kickoff. And from then the Bulldogs have slowly but surely tried to crawl their way back into the game, but with just under 6 minutes left, it would take a miracle to make up their 11-point deficit. We'll have to see. Harrison Nash coming on in a substitution. Carson Roble will also make an entry for the Bulldogs alongside TJ Miles. So 2 coming off for Adrian, 1 for Davenport. Fresh legs, crucial at this stage in the game. And a scrum right at the 40-yard marker. Comes loose for the Panthers. Nolan. Dropped off a hard hit, but nonetheless, Davenport speeding forwards. Ethan Howard down in a heap. Worked back, trying to clear a path for himself. Taken to the ground. Panthers bobble it. This one's down on the deck. Coming out with it is Favale. He's muscled to the ground. Roble, his first touch of the ball tonight. Taking a hard hit there was Vatuve. Roble sending it out to the far side. So difficult when the only way you're allowed to go with the passing is backwards. Adrian coughs it up. But it appears they'll be saved by an evident foul against Davenport. Coming on right now is Michael Sorrentino, freshman from Commerce, Michigan. Murray sending this one deep into the Panthers' territory. Should be a line out in the Panthers' end. 4 minutes. Bulldogs will have to hurry. Is the mountain too steep to climb, or could we see a last-second comeback by Adrian College? Trying to stay undefeated, but they're up against it. Davenport looking to claim their first win of the season in their first game of the season. It's lofted up and over all of the Bulldogs forwards. Davenport was springing away with it, but another whistle. Clock has stopped here late in the game at Docking Stadium. Calvin Keys here with you on Adrian College TV men's rugby action. Adrian versus Davenport. Our director, Patrick Smith. Camera operator at the moment, Ashley Roeder. Forrest Vernier also pitching in this evening. Happy you've joined us. Tune in for football, men's soccer, and women's soccer action tomorrow. Triple header here. Same place on the Adrian College TV YouTube channel. Looking to play it in is Gatewood. Sam Williams replacing a Bulldog player. High in the air for it is Adrian. Yet another whistle sounds. This game has slowed to a crawl right now, nearly at a standstill, with just a shave over 4 minutes left to be played. Now finally the festivities may resume. Don't want to get my hopes up with the amount of stoppages we've seen. Murray bobbled it for a second. And I believe what the call is there is, I guess, a forward pass or a bounce, not allowed to spring forward off of a player's hands. Murray bobbled it. It came forward on the pitch off of his hands. And a scrum here. Luther Deacon, freshman out of Cape Town, South Africa. 7 South Africans in Davenport's lineup tonight. Maybe that's part of the reason why they've had their success, channeling a bit of the spirit of the Springboks. Legendary South African national rugby team. Not much time left in this game. Adrian maybe playing for morale's sake at this point, trying to find something to hang their hat on late in the game. Never say never. Sam Williams. Williams still with it. Got up to his top speed, then had his ankles wrapped up, and it halted his progress. Adrian trying to spring it free. Tackled quickly. Organizing a ruck. Drop it again to Murray. Fingertip grab there. Through the hands of Caden Barksdale. Finally finds his composure. He's thrown to the ground. Caden Barksdale saw airtime after TJ Miles picked him up like it was nothing. And now tempers flaring here on the near side. Adrian coaching staff getting in a brawl with the Davenport coaching staff. They're continuing to exchange pleasantries. This is an ugly scene. Players toppling to the ground. This is unbecoming of the sport of rugby. All sparked by the throw from TJ Miles. Having to be separated as a huge crowd has gathered on the near touchline. This is madness. Caden Barksdale still on the floor as this one's being sorted out. It's been a testy game all night. 3 yellow cards shown in the first half. And some of the players still having to be separated. TJ Miles with a play that is frowned upon, picking up his opponent Barksdale late on in the game and chucking him onto his back. That's what sparked that controversy. And it looks like the referee has blown full time. So Davenport gloating in the faces of their opponent, the Adrian Bulldogs. Now it looks like some cooler heads will prevail and a little bit of sportsmanship being shown with some handshakes. But it looks like that's all she wrote tonight. Some late game fireworks. But in the end, Davenport take it 23-12 here at Docking Stadium. Adrian Bulldogs fall to a 1-1 record on the year. And Davenport capture their first win in their first game. 23-12, how things finished. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Calvin Keys. On behalf of everyone helping out with our Adrian College TV broadcast, thank you for tuning in and have a great night.
On Tuesday, April 6, 2021, I was sitting in my office and an email popped into my inbox from someone in your graduating class today. The email said, "Dear President Docking, back in August I had emailed you in regards to the state of the well-being of the campus community during the COVID spike. At that time, I was incredibly anxious about the prospect of spending my senior year of college sitting at my kitchen table in my hometown trying to finish my seminar projects in the event we switched to all online learning. As I type this email now in April, I cannot describe to you the gratitude that my fellow students and I have for Adrian remaining open on campus for the duration of the school year. I wanted to take the time to thank the Adrian College community, the faculty, the staff, for allowing us to have as normal of a year as possible in a world that simply did not want that to happen. I look forward to walking across the stage in May knowing that I was still able to enjoy time with my friends and the Bulldog community during my senior year. All the best, Max Birmingham, class of 2021. Max, you've got to stand up so we can give you a round of applause. For those of us on this stage, today is one of the most exciting days of the year. We love to see the wonder and anticipation in the eyes of our new students as all of you anxiously await all of the amazing experiences that will define the years ahead.